Welcome to our channel, friends. Tonight we descend into the abyss of childhood fears, the ones that cling to us long after the lights go out. We're talking about cursed objects, vessels of malevolence disguised as playthings. Our journey begins with an antique doll, its porcelain face frozen in a grotesque mockery of childhood innocence. Passed down through generations like a sinister heirloom, this doll isn't content with just collecting dust. It craves fear. It thrives on the terror it inflicts upon those unfortunate enough to cross its path. The stories began subtly, whispers from the previous owners about nightmares. Vivid, bone-chilling nightmares of being chased through endless corridors by a figure with vacant eyes and a haunting grin. Then came the unexplained occurrences, cold spots in otherwise warm rooms, the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes, and the faint scent of rotting flowers that seemed to follow the doll like a macabre perfume. But the doll wasn't finished. It yearned to solidify its grip on reality, to make its presence undeniable. One by one, the owners began to experience more terrifying events. Objects moved on their own, seemingly guided by an unseen hand. Disembodied laughter echoed through the dead of night, each chilling giggle sending shivers down their spines. One owner, a young woman named Anya, swore she saw the doll blink. Its lifeless eyes, usually fixed in a vacant stare, seemed to flicker with a malevolent glint. She tried to get rid of the doll, to discard it like a bad memory, but it always found its way back to her. Like a loyal pet, but one twisted by a sinister force. As Anya's sanity dwindled, the doll's hold on her tightened. She became withdrawn, her once bright eyes now clouded with fear. Her every waking moment was consumed by the doll's presence, the feeling of being watched intensifying with each passing day. One night, Anya couldn't take it anymore, driven to the brink by the relentless torment. She grabbed the doll and ran into the night. She finally stopped at the edge of town by an old crumbling well. With trembling hands she hurled the doll into the darkness, the sound of it shattering echoing through the night. Relief, sweet and intoxicating, washed over her, but it was short-lived. As Anya turned to leave, she heard a faint whisper coming from the well. "You can't escape me," the voice hissed, echoing up from the darkness. Our next tale takes us deeper into the realm of cursed objects, to a seemingly innocuous teddy bear harboring a dark secret. This isn't a toy that offers comfort or solace. This is a vessel for something ancient and evil, something that whispers in the dead of night, luring unsuspecting souls to their doom. The teddy bear, once a vibrant shade of brown, is now faded and worn, its fur matted and stained with what appears to be dirt, and something far more sinister. Its button eyes, once full of playful charm, now seem to stare into your very soul, judging your every thought, your every fear. The whispers started subtly. Those who dared to keep the teddy bear close, who sought comfort in its worn fur, would hear faint murmurs in the quiet hours. They were easy to dismiss at first, attributed to the wind whistling through cracks or the house settling. But the whispers persisted, growing louder, more insistent. They spoke of forgotten things, of ancient rituals and unspeakable horrors. They whispered names, dates and locations, details that sent chills down the spines of those who heard them. The teddy bear wasn't just whispering, it was communicating, sharing secrets that should have remained buried in the annals of time. And it wasn't content with just whispering. People began to disappear. It started with those who had been in close contact with the teddy bear, who had held it close, who had confided in it their deepest fears and darkest secrets. They vanished without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a lingering sense of dread. The disappearances followed a pattern. One by one, the victims would become increasingly withdrawn, their eyes glazed over with a haunting emptiness. They would mutter to themselves, their words nonsensical, their voices hollow and distant. Then they would vanish. No note, no goodbye, no explanation. Just an empty space where they once stood, as if they had never existed at all. The teddy bear, however, would remain, a silent witness to the horrors it had unleashed. The authorities were baffled. There was no sign of a struggle, no forced entry, no indication of where the victims had gone or who or what had taken them. The only clue, it seemed, was the teddy bear. One detective, a man named Miller, became obsessed with the case. He spent countless hours poring over the evidence, interviewing witnesses and researching ancient lore. He knew in his gut that the teddy bear was the key to unraveling the mystery, but he couldn't prove it. Driven by a relentless need for answers, Miller took the teddy bear home with him. Chapter 3. The Cursed Jack-in-the-Box. Our final tale delves into the depths of a family's deepest fears, a tale of a toy so terrifying that it was locked away, hidden from the world, its very existence a chilling secret. This isn't just a toy, it's a conduit to something sinister, something that delights in chaos and revels in the suffering of others. The Jack-in-the-Box, its once vibrant colors now faded and cracked, sits on a dusty shelf in the attic, its music box silent, its crank still. But don't be fooled by its stillness. This isn't a toy at peace. It's a predator lying in wait, its malevolent spirit biding its time, waiting for the moment to strike. The story begins generations ago with a young boy named Samuel who received the Jack-in-the-Box as a gift. It was a peculiar present given to him by a traveling merchant with eyes that seemed to hold ancient secrets and a smile that never reached his cold, calculating gaze. From the moment Samuel laid eyes on the Jack-in-the-Box, he was drawn to it. He couldn't explain the allure, the strange pull he felt towards the toy, but he knew he had to have it. He begged his parents for it, his pleas growing more insistent with each passing day. Finally, his parents relented, their better judgment clouded by their love for their son. They bought the Jack-in-the-Box, unaware of the darkness they were inviting into their home. Samuel was overjoyed. He spent hours playing with the Jack-in-the-Box, cranking its handle and giggling with delight as the clown popped out. But the laughter didn't last. The nightmares began almost immediately. Samuel would wake up screaming, his tiny body racked with sobs, his eyes wide with terror. He spoke of a shadowy figure that lurked in the corner of his room, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light, its grin a grotesque mockery of joy. His parents dismissed the nightmares as childish fears, but deep down, a seed of doubt began to grow in their hearts. The Jack-in-the-Box, they noticed, seemed to exude a strange energy, a palpable aura of malice that sent shivers down their spines. As the days turned into weeks, Samuel's behavior grew increasingly erratic. He became withdrawn, his once bright eyes now dull and lifeless. He refused to eat, refused to play, and refused to let go of the Jack-in-the-Box. One night, Samuel's parents were awoken by a blood-curdling scream. They rushed to their son's room, their hearts pounding in their chests, only to find it empty. The window was open, the curtains billowing in the night breeze, and the Jack-in-the-Box was gone. They searched for Samuel for days, their hope dwindling with each passing hour. They never found him. Some say he ran away, driven mad by the cursed toy. Others whisper that the Jack-in-the-Box claimed him, dragging his soul into the darkness from which it came. The Jack-in-the-Box resurfaced years later, appearing on the doorstep of a young couple with a newborn baby. The cycle began anew. There you have it, friends, 3 horrifying tales of cursed toys and the darkness they bring. These aren't just stories. They're warnings, reminders that even the most innocent-looking objects can harbor a terrifying secret. So, the next time you're rummaging through an antique shop or browsing a flea market, think twice before you bring home that old doll or worn-out teddy bear. You never know what kind of evil you might be inviting into your home.